What do you say to Speaker Johnson, who says there's no reason for the House to come back to session?
Well, there are a lot of reasons for the House to be in session. We were supposed to be in session the last 2 weeks. We're supposed to be in session next week, irrespective of a government shutdown, because, we have oversight hearings to do. We have legislation to mark up. We have the ordinary business of the people to carry out. And there's no justification to shut everything down just because we're in the midst of the government shutdown. In fact, the fact that there's a government shutdown is all the more reason that we should be there in order to be doing everything we possibly can to get us out of this situation, not to mention the fact that the entire reason the House had to pass a 7-week continuing resolution in the first place is that we were going to miss the deadline for passing a full budget. So even if that 7-week continuing resolution became law, we've already burned a few of those weeks just being out of session. So I think we absolutely should be there.
The Speaker says that there should be no negotiations with Democrats. But, we're about to begin week 3 of this very damaging shutdown. It's only going to get more painful for so many Americans. So is it time for GOP leaders to begin negotiating with Democrats to find a way out of this crisis?
Yeah, I think we need to explore all avenues. And I want to be very clear. I voted for the continuing resolution. I don't like continuing resolutions, but it was the lesser of two evils between that and shutting down the government, which is a terrible thing. I wish the Senate would just vote for the version we passed in the House. I don't agree with what Chuck Schumer is doing. I think he's being unreasonable. But this is politics. Sometimes you have to work with people that you believe are being unreasonable in order to find the common ground that is best for the country. And so long as the House isn't even there, that's going to be very hard for us to do.
Yeah, so you think it's time to negotiate, for the Speaker to negotiate with Democrats?
I think if there's an avenue that we can explore that will get us out of this, then absolutely. I mean, they've brought up this issue of the subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. There are a number of people in our conference, myself included, who are very concerned about the prospect that people are going to see a sudden increase in premiums. And so if reaching some sort of deal there, or at least a first step towards a deal, which is going to need to be reached anyway, provides a pathway out of the shutdown as well, I don't see why we shouldn't at least look at it.
In today's breaking story, Congress has just stunned Speaker Mike Johnson with a full-blown Sunday revolt. And let's be honest, folks, Mike Johnson's weekend, not going so well. The man who calls himself Speaker of the House is acting like a petulant child. He's refusing to even sit down with Democrats to reopen the government, refusing to negotiate, refusing to lead. Mike Johnson and his Republican allies want you to believe that Democrats are to blame for the shutdown. Really? Let's get this straight. Republicans control the House. Republicans control the Supreme Court. And they've blocked every single effort to keep the government open. Yet somehow, they say it's the Democrats' fault. It's laughable, if it weren't so dangerous. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene has gone on record blaming her own party for the shutdown. When Marjorie Taylor Greene becomes the voice of reason, you know the entire Republican leadership has lost its mind. And let's talk about Mike Johnson's latest lie. He claims that so-called illegal immigrants are draining Medicaid and bankrupting America. But the facts, the real facts, tell a very different story. A study from the Journal of the American Medical Association found that care for undocumented immigrants makes up less than half of 1% of total Medicaid spending. 0.4%.
Mike Johnson says he's not lying. It's a real tell there.
My question is, if Republicans and Democrats can agree to a 1-year extension to the ACA subsidies, removing this sort of talking point of illegal immigrants draining our resources, as you sit here and lie about this, would you support that bill and bring it to a vote on the House floor? This is a big question that I have for you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, not lying. I'm telling you the truth, and you can go look at all the documents yourself. Don't look at Republican paperwork. Look at the Congressional Budget Office, who said that we had at least 1.4 million illegal aliens draining the resources from Medicaid.
Mike Johnson says he's not lying. It's a real tell there. Says immigrants are draining resources from Medicaid, and you can go, quote, look at the documents yourself. Thank you for that advice. Let's do just that. Here is a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association just last night. It found that in 2022, care for undocumented immigrants made up only 0.4% of total Medicaid spending, less than 0.5%. That's it. There are the documents. We can send them to your office.
That's it. So no, Mr. Speaker, it's not immigrants draining the system. It's you. It's your billionaire donors. It's your friends in Big Pharma who profit while ordinary Americans pay the price. Democrats are fighting to keep ACA premiums from skyrocketing, to stop working families from paying 75% more for their health care next year. Republicans are shutting down the government because they want Big Pharma and billionaires to keep jacking up prices, while you, the American people, are left holding the bill. This is not about immigration. It's about greed. It's about power. It's about serving corporate masters while lying to your face about freedom.
Because there's no negotiations happening right now because Republicans are boycotting those negotiations. They are boycotting negotiations to reopen the government because they are desperate to raise premiums on people in this country by 75% in order to finance their tax cut for the wealthy. Their only priority is protecting the billionaire class and the corporate class. The other reason the House of Representatives isn't in town right now trying to reopen the government, because they are about to have enough votes to pass a resolution mandating the release of the Epstein files. So J.D. Vance and Donald Trump's #1 priority is protecting billionaires, protecting corporations, and raising premiums, raising healthcare costs by 75% on American citizens. So yes, I think that Democrats should say, if you want our votes for a budget, it can't be a corrupt budget. It can't be a budget that is going to devastate the lives of middle-class families in this country in order to protect and reward billionaires. That's a pretty reasonable request.
Pushback now? Welcome to Pushback Network. We are here to shine a light where corporate and legacy media remain silent. Please subscribe, like, and share this content to help us reach as many people as possible, because that is the only way we can build a community that can hold the line and fight back. Let's look at what this shutdown really means. It means hundreds of thousands of federal workers are going without pay. People who keep our airports safe, our food inspected, our borders secure. Families are wondering how they'll pay rent or buy groceries while politicians play power games in Washington. It means veterans are waiting longer for care. It means small businesses that depend on government contracts are shutting their doors. It means families across this country are being punished, not because of Democrats, but because Republicans are holding the government hostage. They are gambling with your lives, your paychecks, and your health care just to score political points on cable TV. Mike Johnson wants to look like a tough guy. But what's tough about hurting working people? What's tough about forcing single parents to skip meals? What's tough about putting veterans, teachers, and small business owners in financial pain just to please billionaires who will never know what a grocery bill looks like? This isn't leadership. It's cruelty dressed up as conviction. And while all this is happening, Donald Trump is out there golfing, flying around the world, pretending everything is fine, pretending he's the savior of America while his party burns it to the ground. He lies, he postures, he brags about strength while leaving ordinary Americans weaker, poorer, and more divided than ever. And Republicans in Congress, they kneel, they nod, they obey. They have turned the party of Lincoln into a cult of Trump. And in that cult, truth doesn't matter, facts don't matter, only power, only control. But here's the thing. Power without compassion is tyranny. Control without conscience is corruption. And that's exactly what we're witnessing right now. Republicans are refusing to negotiate not because they can't find common ground, but because they don't want to. Because compromise doesn't make their donors richer. Because solving problems doesn't get them clicks or campaign checks. So instead, they create chaos. They invent enemies. They lie about immigrants, lie about health care, lie about the economy, anything to distract from the fact that their real agenda is protecting the wealthy and keeping ordinary Americans in fear and debt. Push back now. This is the moment, America. If you're listening to this, understand that this fight isn't just about policy. It's about who we are as a country. It's about whether we care for one another or sell each other out. It's about whether the government serves the people or the billionaires who buy the people off. Ordinary Americans need to wake up. You need to see what's happening before it's too late. Because this shutdown is just the latest symptom of a deeper sickness. A political machine fueled by greed, corruption, and cruelty. They want you tired. They want you divided. They want you too busy surviving to notice who's stealing from you. But here at PBN, we refuse to be silent. We refuse to be distracted. We refuse to back down. We are here to call it what it is: a betrayal of working Americans by a party that has sold its soul to billionaires, corporations, and extremists. Democrats are fighting to protect health care, to cap prescription drug prices, to strengthen Social Security and Medicare, to make sure no child in this country goes without food or care. Republicans are fighting to take it all away, because that's what their donors demand. So push back against the lies, push back against the propaganda, push back against every politician who tells you that the problem is your neighbor instead of the billionaire who bought their vote. Don't buy the headlines from Fox News. Don't trust the spin from legacy media that cashes in on chaos. Support independent voices, support independent journalism, support truth. Like, share, subscribe. Join us at PBN, Push Back Now, where we expose the hypocrisy, the greed, and the lies of those who serve billionaires instead of the American people. Pushback Network is unapologetically pro-democracy. In an era of rising authoritarianism and disinformation, we speak truth to power and expose the forces eroding our freedoms. This is not the time for silence. It's the time to fight back, push back, and defend democracy before we lose it. Push back now, for truth, for justice, for you,